My psychologist told me that the chances of me possibly being autistic were very slim. However, I failed to inform him about something that would have definitely guaranteed that diagnosis. My prolonged and inane obsession with Midnight Club LA's removed music. And I'm not just talking about the music that was removed from the game a decade after release, such a heartwarming anniversary gift that was, but the myriad of songs that were either placeholder or genuinely scheduled to be part of the original game's large and eclectic library of tunes. A soundtrack so eclectic, in fact, that eclectic in and of itself is a genre designated by the game. It is just that diverse. You want bohemian art punk? You got it. Materialistic MySpace-era rappers talking about bling in the midst of a worldwide financial crisis on bargain bin CD mixtapes? There you go. Overtly histrionic and dated Blockhouse-era dance punk and new rave from white English kids singing in extremely tight jeans? You got it, my brother. French house from a time when Ed Banger was taken over? I got you, homie. J Mill? Hell yeah. Nas, 9 Inch Nails, Fools when they were still an interesting band. Cassius, it's over. Cassius. Snoop, Merce, Tricky, Danny Bird, The Game, Deadmau5, MG fucking MT, Beck, Kid Cudi. Should I go on? I love this soundtrack. It may not have the mainstream palatability and overall bling factor that MC3's also great soundtrack has, but MCLA's library to me feels deeper and more researched, whereas MC3 largely feels like a disparate list of mainstream hitters and English jungle that don't exactly play into the game's style or locations all too much. With the exception of the Detroit techno and, of course, hip-hop, you know, cars real big, yada yada. MCLA's rich and tasty musical buffet was going to have even more on its menu. Like that G-Unit knockoff that Clip spearheaded for a bit that nobody remembers, or Lupe Fiasco rapping over a very low-quality 2 kilobytes per second MP3 rip of a Jay-Z beat. Bass Nectar doing peyotes in front of his dog. Oh, and of course Linkin Park as well. A lot of this music was genuinely great and would have complemented the game's atmosphere incredibly well. And ever since 14-year-old me found a couple of unused text strings in one of the game's archives, I had gone through each and every haystack to find each and every needle. Any modicum of evidence pertaining to a cut song or a cut artist, you know, I dove deep, whether that be spending hours combing through the game files or speaking to people directly involved in the production, including the literal music director who unfortunately doesn't seem to remember much when it comes to specifics, only recalling that a lot of music indeed did not make it in. And considering I have, over the years, found leftovers and evidence alluding to 50 cut music tracks, a lot would probably be a very safe assumption. But why, you may ask? Why were we not granted the opportunity to listen to Dead Kennedy's California Uber Alice whilst cruising down Santa Monica in a Gallardo that resembles a blinged up Transformer? Well, probably because California Uber Alice is like a 70s anti-authoritarian punk song that tries to analogize the Californian government with the Third Reich, which is not very appropriate subject matter to include in a racing game where this guy is one of the lead characters.
Get on a bike, buddy! On a bike!
This motherfucker missed.
Well, it's a microcosm of things, my boy. Music licensing has always and will always be a hectic affair. Whether that be due to financial issues, artists being hesitant about licensing out their music, issues with sample clearances, or in the case of 40 Cal's Memories, the lead artist not properly crediting and paying their producers, leading to a lack of paperwork to properly close out the deal. But don't fret, we at least still got J Mill. And besides running my own doner kebab shop, the one thing I had always wanted, and with always I mean since 2018, which, considering the current state of the world, was basically a lifetime ago now, is to be able to play the game with all of this music restored. For the longest time, that merely seemed like wishful thinking, seeing how little people actually give a fuck about modding this game, and how convoluted Rage's audio formats are. But after many years of prayer, my cries have finally been answered. And yours have too, because you can now play MCLA with all of the pre-release music back in the game. I've restored all of the cut race music, and even went out of my way to make race finish loops for them. I even made race finish loops for songs that do exist in the retail game but never had any loops made for them, which are all of these songs in case you're curious. You probably aren't. It's the same for the songs from the South Central expansion. No end of race loops were ever made for them. So I made them. Because, you know, things like time, adult responsibilities, and employment are nothing more than just social constructs. And of course, I made sure everything was properly EQ'd and normalized, with most of the songs needing manual touches to ensure they sounded right in-game. The songs even play inside of the garage, so you can listen to Jim Jones whilst putting donks on your Impala SS. Very 2008. Ballin'! And there are more small details and touches to be found in this mod that I won't go over here, but if you're inquisitive enough, will probably notice. Oh, and as an added bonus, I now made it so you can just purchase the audio right from the garage when you have this mod installed, because why not? It currently only works on the Xbox 360 version, although I do plan to make it compatible with the PS3 version at some point. It works on both Xenia Edge and real hardware, so, you know, whatever you fancy. And I've made it compatible for both the Complete Edition, which I reckon most of you will be playing on, and the original Day 1 release, which actually runs with more stable frame times on Xenia for some reason. Make sure you're playing on Xenia Edge, as that version of the emulator fixed vehicle reflections and vinyls. You also need to set the audio decoder to master in the emulator settings, otherwise the music channels will start desyncing and make it sound like you're on some godforsaken DMT trip. Installing the mod for the Complete Edition is really straightforward. It acts as a DLC package, so you don't have to actually replace any of the game files. In Xenia Edge, go to the Tools tab, go to Install Content, select the mod file, and there you go, brother. It works. Installing the mod for the Day 1 version is a different process, but there's a readme file that will tell you everything you need to know. I want to give a big shout out to my brother Ednus, as without him this mod likely would not have been possible. I have some gameplay of the mod in the description in case you want a little preview. Donate to the Ko-fi if you want to support the homie. See ya.